In this video, we're going to learn about setting the border property. So we can put borders around things, and there's three different main border properties. There's border style, and by the way, this one is critical. If you don't list this one, borders won't show up. The default setting for border style is none. So unless you change that, you will get no border even if you add color or width or any of the other options. So for border style, I'm going to just start with a solid. This is a keyword property, and there are actually lots of different keywords you can use. If I go to the CSS reference and find border style, it will help me to identify which keywords are a possibility. So I go to the border style property and I scroll down, and it will give me a list of all those potential values. So lots of different ones, and you can try each one to see what they look like and if you like them. So I'm going to set border style to solid, and then I can go ahead and now all my paragraphs have a border. So now you see the default width and color. So I can set both of those. So the other properties that I can set are border width. And here, this is a length, so I can just do 6 pixels or some other number and unit. And now I've put a width on that. I want to teach you just a little bit about the option. Notice that you have a border top, a border right, a border bottom, and a border left. And you can set each of those individually, or I can set the border width by doing this. I can say, if I use one length with border width, it will make all 4 sides the same. If I use 2, then it will set the width of the top and bottom borders to the first number and the left and right to the second number. And so you see how that happens. If I use 4, I can do individually each one separate. So I can say, then it starts at the top, right, the next one will be the bottom, and the last one will be the left side. So if you can set all 4 individually, notice that I'm just putting a length value for each one, no separation, just spaces between them. And there you go. See, 6 pixel on the top, 18 pixel on the right border, 24 pixels on the bottom border, and 36 pixels on the left. The other property value that I can set is border color. And this allows me to make it a different color. So I'm going to go up here and capture one of the colors that I've got up there and add that, and that will change the color. So I have the option to set all of those different properties. Now another way that I can do this is with the let me get this back to where we just have a single width around here. I think I'm going to do the 18. I like that. So now I've just got one property for all. I've got all the sides the same. I can replace these 3 things happen in common. They're happen together all the time. So I can change it and use a single property that is I just do border. And now I can say the style and the width and the color. And I can do that all in one command, right? With just the border property, it includes all of them. And now I just save it like that and refresh, and I get exactly the same result. So it's just a shorthand way to set the style, width, and color of a border all in one command. And by the way, the order does not matter. So you can mix these up and put them in any order that you want. There are fun things that we can do with a table when we add a border. So remember that when we do a table in HTML, we get no borders, and that kind of throws us off. We kind of expect a table to have borders on it. Well, this is where we can set it. So we can set the border on the table, and let's go ahead and use a 3 property. Let's go ahead and do solid. I'm sticking with solid because it's so easy to see. And let's make it 6 pixels. Well, we'll do 4 pixels, make it a little bit smaller. And let's leave off the color and see what happens. So now I refresh, and there my table now has a border. Notice that by default, if I don't set the color, it's going to pick up exactly the same color that's already on the text. So it'll just pick up the default text color, which is what we set for the entire body. So normally we don't think of the table as, so here we truly are getting a border around the table, but that's not what we normally expect. So I can change my selector. I don't want it around the table. How about if I put it on the table row and see if I can get a border around the table row. Now notice how borders around rows often don't work. So it depends on the browser, but table rows are not something that pick up a border. So let's go ahead and pick up, remember that tables have table data? So let's do table data and see what we get and put the border around the table data. And sure enough, that's more, we're getting closer to what we expect, right? Now each one of those table datas have a border around it. Now what about our table headers? Table header is a different tag. So this puts it around the table data. If we want it around the table head too, we can put a comma and list table head here and have it be the same. So I'm going to do both the table headers and the table data tags. And now I have borders. But notice how they look different. Each individual cell has a border around it, but then there's this gap between the individual cells. And that is an interesting look, and there are sometimes when you want that to be the look that you get. If you want to look the more traditional spreadsheet way, we want to get rid of those gaps between those. And the way we do that is with the border collapse property. Now the border collapse property it works on the table element, not on TD and TH, but it's on the complete table. So we have to have a different style block for this one. So we're going to do border collapse. And this is keywords, and what the keyword that I want is collapse. And I'm going to save that and refresh. And now that borders, those borders overlap, so they share a border between each cell, which makes them look more like the table that we expected. We still want to get some spacing in there. We'll learn about that when we learn about the box model and adding padding and margin.